to the Dave Decay Show. I'm Dave Decay. Now, this whole month is going to be so much fun. My buddy Svengoolie, actually he has no idea who I am, but it doesn't matter. My buddy Svengoolie is showing Godzilla films the entire month of February. So I'm going to bring you the review of these Godzilla films as he shows them in order. And what's so great about this is, even though I am a Godzilla fan, love Godzilla, awesome big lizard, I never actually saw these older versions of the King of Monsters. The ones I'm more familiar with are the much later ones where he's fighting King Kong and doing some WWE moves and giving him the elbow and drop kicking him and things like that. Much less serious films than what this one is. So this originally came out on May 29th, 1957. And a year later, the American version of it came out. Now, I am going to be reviewing the American version only right now, but later this month, I got a real treat for you. The guys over at Box Office Maniacs is actually going to review the Criterion version of Godzilla that has both the American and the Japanese version and a ton of extra stuff. So make sure you go and you check that out as well. So the American version of it is, from what I know, quite different than the Japanese version. I have yet to see the Japanese version, so all I'll be commenting on right now is the American version. Now, the American version stars Raymond Burr. For most people, probably know him as Perry Mason. However, he wasn't Perry Mason for yet another year until after this movie was made. So he was pretty much an unknown to American audiences. Now, like I said, most of the later Godzilla films became pretty silly. This one, however, is completely serious from beginning to end. And let me tell you, folks, it's outstanding. There was a lot of things going on in the 1950s, like dropping nuclear bombs on people. So they basically took the concept of the threat of the nuclear war and made a gigantic lizard from it. Now, Raymond Burr shows up because he was supposed to be going over to Egypt, but somehow he ended up in Tokyo. I have no idea. But he's a news reporter, and he basically drops into Tokyo at the same time Godzilla decides to come up out of the ocean. Now, from what I understand, they filmed a full week of just Raymond Burr and stuck him in this film, which is why this is so different from the Japanese version. So they brought this out, I guess, wanting a little bit more Americanized version of the film with Raymond Burr in it. However, like I said, I have yet to see the Japanese version, but I love this movie. I absolutely love this movie. Now I can see why Godzilla is considered the king of all monsters. He looked really good in this film. Even though you could still tell that it was a guy walking around in a suit, they actually spent quite a lot of money making sure that suit looked really good. And it did in this film. It looked great. With Raymond Burr in this film, they also do have the Japanese actors as well. So they are dubbed, but they do a really good job dubbing their voices. And on occasion, when they can, they actually use the real voices. One thing that I really enjoyed about this is the story was so good here. Even with the Americanized version of it, the story still holds up even today as being very entertaining and just awesome. I mean, the basic plot of the film is Godzilla coming up out of the ocean and destroying Tokyo. Now, back then, obviously, they did not have CG, so they built all these miniature sets, and when Godzilla does come up out of the ocean and wreaks havoc on Tokyo, let me tell you, ghoulies and ghoulettes, it's amazing. It's a sight to see. So much fun to see him step on these cars and destroy these buildings and pick up trains and eat them and knock over bridges, because it's real, it's physical. Godzilla can grab a hold of this stuff and destroy it. Yes, it's miniatures, but the miniatures look fantastic. And you know somebody spent all that time building these sets and building the bridges and the cars and the buildings, and all of it is very detailed. It's not kiddified at all. It looks like a real city, and when he's walking through there, it's just an amazing thing to see. Plus, they managed to make so much tension towards the middle to the end of the film when he does attack Tokyo. And it's kind of scary, even to tell you the truth. It's that good. And the best part about the film is the acting with Raymond Burr and all the other Japanese actors is outstanding. And the story itself is really well told and really cool. The way they come up with trying to destroy Godzilla, I'm not giving anything away, of course, is really inventive and really cool. I loved it. You know, after watching some of the later Godzilla films, I thought I was going to be in for a complete cheese fest, and what I got here was a brilliant masterpiece. And if you watch my show, you know I do not say that often. That's how good the first Godzilla film is. I just wish later on they would have made it a little bit more like this one rather than made it, you know, a guy in an obvious big rubber suit. And as far as I know, Svengoolie is going to be showing these in order. Maybe. I'm not exactly sure. I don't even know how many Godzilla films there were. I'm sure there's quite a lot of them. But it's going to be so much fun watching at least 4 of these in a row for this month of February. So do yourself a favor. You know, if you've never seen Godzilla, absolutely watch it. This film gets a 5 out of 5. It's incredible. It's so much fun. And like I said, it even does get a little scary, which is really cool. I wasn't expecting that. So I will bring you another review for the next Godzilla next week, Ghoulies and Ghoulettes. So until then, as always, stay spooky. Oh, also don't forget to check out the Criterion collection of Godzilla that's going to be coming later this month.